Hello and welcome to another episode of the Occupational Philosophers, a not-so-serious business podcast designed to spark curiosity, creativity, imagination, play, with a little bit of philosophy often thrown into the mix for good measure. As ever, I'm joined by my co-host, Simon, in Australia. Hello, Simon. We've got a new segment, Simon, haven't we? This has a working title of Nuggets, Occupational Philosophers Nuggets. So bear with us. Rather helpfully, though, we've decided to go back into the archives. We've had so many wonderful guests who've kindly shared some brilliant insights into creativity and curiosity and all the subjects we explore. And we just wanted to pare these down into something that was something you could actually digest very quickly and perhaps action off the back of these. And so we decided to call it Nuggets. And rather helpfully, the first archive episode is our very first guest, Peter Lovatt. So we have Peter Lovatt's Nuggets.
Much better than Peter Lovatt's Insights, which sounds like corporate buffoonerism, doesn't it?
Maybe we change it depending on the guest's name that we talk about.
I'm up for that.
Find out something new. We'll find out something new each time.
Yeah.
Right. Well, let's just remind listeners, though. So Peter Lovatt Dr. Peter Lovatt, is a dance psychologist, and he's interested in the science of human behavior of dancing. And I'm going to start with a first quote, which is, "Dance is all about the human experience and what it is to be a human being and how we communicate with each other, bond together socially, think, problem solve, emote, and move physically. All of those things." And the first idea that we wanted to share in our conversation with Peter was about this idea of movement and how it impacts thinking. I was asking about, my son was revising at the time, and I said, look, what movement should he practice while he's revising? And Peter was absolutely on it straight away and said, look, if he's looking at things like maths, where there's potentially a singular answer to establish, then he wants to improve upon his convergent problem-solving skills. And he suggested structured movement, such as running. And of course, then by contrast, he suggested improvised movement, as he put it, running with a wiggle or doing a bit of a John Travolta as you move, which is a great way just to keep that in your mind. That would increase people's divergent thinking skills and their capabilities. And that was perfect for all type of creative thinking pursuits or problem solving, where there might be a multitude of answers being sought. So yeah, burpees for complex algebra and Macarena for creative writing. I think there was a quote that really caught your eye next.
Yeah, absolutely, John. And I use this all the time, which has been one of the beautiful things about doing this show for 4 years, the things you pick up, which I never naturally would have. But his quote is, "Dance first, think later, it's the natural order." And follows on with, "Get ourselves moving and dancing, then the thinking will kick in." And I use this all of the time, and often draw first, think later, it's the natural order. Talk first, think later, whatever it may be. I put everything in. Maybe not talk first, think later.
Talk first, think later. Yeah, I think that's the problem we're finding ourselves in.
Actually, as I was saying that,
societally,
draw first, think later, all of those things, and just get moving, which I like. Now, what I like about this is the moment you move or you do something with your hands, you disrupt your set patterns of thinking, which forces your brain to think differently. So I just love that, like movement, action, getting started, understanding once you do that, good things will come off the back of that as well. So I love that if you move, you change your state immediately around how we might, and also how you feel. That's the other one as well, all the endorphins it releases. And, movement is the gateway drug to dance. So dance sits at the top of that, but just start with moving.
The third idea that really caught my eye, and I know it did you as well, is this idea that dance seems to have been something that's quashed at a very, very early age. And I think you were saying that you might actually apply that thought that Peter had to lots of creative pursuits. That I think there's a quote where he says, what we seem to have done is backed ourselves into a corner with dance, where we tend to think of dance as being something only little children do, or that you have to be brilliant. And that really came through for us, didn't it? This whole thing of fear of being judged if you want to sing, or fear of being judged if you want to dance, or whatever that creative pursuit might be.
Oh, John, it keeps me up at night, that, and it has for 20 years. That fear of perfection, the fear of, oh, you're a professional, therefore, unless my whatever it is looks or sounds or feels like that, means I'm not going to do it. It's just crazy because the human condition is to create, dance, sing. Every Indigenous culture I've ever had the pleasure of being engaged with does that throughout history. So we just miss out on so much of what it means to be human when we do that. It's so sad because I think we miss out on so much of life as well when we go, I can't do that because of some bullshit mindset we've got around perfection and how we think around our own creativity. Soapbox, yeah.
My soapbox would be then that fear extends to even something as simple as expressing curiosity and asking a good question. In a board meeting, this is where it all came from, is teams that found themselves incurious, not questioning assumptions, not challenging stuff, not trying to get some breakthrough moments because of a fear of being judged or looking silly. So I think it carries through to everything that we talk about, this self-consciousness that quashes a lot of these capabilities.
Now, 3 quotes, 3 ideas, what you and I are always interested in. What's the thought experiment, what we could discuss and try that brings some of this together?
The question I think you might want to reflect on or discuss with your team might be, how might you encourage more movement in your organization in a way that stimulates better thinking, forges better social bonds, there's more empathy there as you get to understanding of each other, bring some positive emotions into that day-to-day culture. So that would be the question to explore. And I suppose the thought experiment off the back of that reflection would be, what can you try out? Could be as simple as something you do different in a meeting, maybe. I don't know what your thoughts are, Simon. What's an experiment people could do? Really easy one.
I think the easy question is, the experiment is, how do I design my day for multiple moments of movement? A lot of M's there. So I know it will shift my consciousness. So think around that. Think around your team. If someone's sat at their desk all day, how do you get them moving? And do it in a way where you're mashing up the veggies in the spaghetti bolognese so the kids don't know they're having them. But if you're in any type of leadership position, encourage people to get outside, have a coffee, move, whatever it is, and they won't even know they're doing it.
Your analogy there of veg in the spaghetti bolognese just reminds me of what my mum used to do to get us to have eggs. She used to stir it into our cocoa.
Oh, so that's child abuse, man. Eggs in cocoa.
Yeah. She used to stir them in. It's just weird to think about. Anyway, there we go.
Well, if nothing else, I'm glad I learned that about your childhood today, because that's sick.
Anyway, that's it. That's all we wanted to share. I think we wanted these to be short and sharp and to the point, get something great from our guests that people could readily apply in their own organization. So I was going to finish with a philosophical quote, which is, sit as little as possible. Do not believe that any idea was not born in the open air and of free movement. And that's by Friedrich Nietzsche. There we go.
Now, John, as always, when we get to the end of our show, if you liked what you've heard, hit the subscribe button in the corner of your podcast feed on your phone. It'll make sure every time a show comes up, it pops up. Tell your friends. And as every podcast in the whole wide world says, if you could leave a review, that would be most helpful. The algorithm likes stars and lots of nice things said about the show. But, John, what do we always ask people to do?
Well, the other thing is read the accompanying Substack post, which will be published at the same time, and which these are based on. These little nuggets are going to be based on what we draw out from those shows. So you'll be able to read it at length and share it with your teams and discuss it, as well as getting these little 10-minute segments through the podcast. So that's it. Until next time, stay curious, make stuff, play more, have fun, and Simon?
As you leave the house, make sure you embrace the world and date life.